Hey everyone, James Wilson here with BikeJames.com, and today I want to talk to you about goal setting. We're going into the off season, so this is a really important time to think about this for a couple of reasons. One, it is important to have goals, but not all goals are necessarily good. You can set what I would call our toxic goals, things that will actually sabotage your motivation and sabotage your results and efforts down the road. So making sure that you set the right kind of goals is just as important as making sure that you're setting goals in the first place. So, what is the difference between what I would call a toxic goal and a positive goal? A toxic goal tends to be an outcomes-based goal. You're focused on some sort of outcome, whereas a good positive goal tends to be a process-based goals, things that you can control. So, for example, an outcome-based goal would be something like completing a race, or finishing at a certain level, like top 3 in a local race series, or getting a king of the mountain on Strava. These are an outcomes-based goal, right? They're good to have, but the thing is you don't necessarily control all of those things, right? Like you may have a kid that gets sick the week of this big race that you had circled, and you may not get to do it, right? You may have some people who move into the area and they're sandbagging, right? And so now you actually improve your performance, but you finish no better in the overall standings than you did the previous season, and so you don't finish top 3. Or there's all sorts of examples of things that can come up to thwart outcome-based goals. So the thing is, how do we take that? And again, that can get frustrating, right? And if your goal is like, I got to do this race, and then your kid gets sick and you don't do the race, you get really frustrated because that was the goal. And if you don't accomplish this goal, so now you have this negative thing hanging around your head because of it. And that's what makes those goals potentially toxic goals, is that if you don't achieve that specific outcome the way that you had laid out, then you're not going to be happy. And there's things outside of your control. So how do we avoid that, right? We don't want that. We want goals to be positive and move us in a good direction. And so that's where process-based goals come in. What are the things that go into achieving the bigger goal that you can control, and then focusing on making your goals around accomplishing those things? And then if you do all of those things and everything lines up, the bigger goal will be accomplished. But it will be accomplished because you focused on what you could, right? But if something happens and this bigger goal doesn't happen, you're still not completely unhappy, right? You have some satisfaction because you did what you did and you controlled what you could control. And sometimes breaks just don't go your way. So let me give you an example of how you can do this, all right? So a really popular goal for people around where I live here in the Grand Junction, Fruita area, we have a race called the Grand Junction Off-Road, and it's really popular for people to circle that date on their calendar and say, I'm going to ride the Grand Junction Off-Road. They got different distances, whether it's the 30, the 40, the 50. You might have time goals or whatever it is, right? So that you make this goal. Okay, again, that's great, but that is an outcomes-based goal that you don't really control. What's the process that goes into that? So let's write down the goal, right? We're going to do the GJ Off-Road is our bigger goal, right? And so, but we need to figure out what do we need to do to accomplish that. So you take a look at things and you realize, well, I need to improve my strength and my mobility and my cardio, right? I need to improve my fitness if I'm going to do this, right? Well, what does that mean? Well, you can break fitness down into different areas. And for a lot of people, especially if you don't have a strong training background, you're going to probably see deficits in the 3 main areas, which are mobility, strength, and cardio. So what we're going to do is we're going to, what can we control, right? So we're going to turn this into a process-based goal, which is improve our fitness. Okay, we can control that. Improve fitness. If you improve your fitness, you're going to be able to ride the Grand Junction Off-Road 50 or whatever it is, whichever one you want, and you're going to be able to accomplish your goal, right? So what does improve fitness mean? We got to break this down into more specific goals because, again, this is still a little vague. So what you can control, you can work on improving specific areas of your fitness, like mobility, cardio, and strength. Now, a big mistake that people make is they bite off a big chunk that they can't handle all at once. They go from, man, I don't have any training background, I've never done a training program before, to I'm going to get this big program, I'm going to, mobility, strength, cardio, everything all at once, start everything at once. And it's well-intentioned, but a lot of times you end up sabotaging yourself. So it's better to spread that out and set manageable goals. Like you want to be on a scale of 1 to 10, you want to be like a 9 or 10, how positive you are that you're going to be able to accomplish the goal that you set for yourself, right? So let's say that, month 1, we decide that we need to work on our mobility, right? So what we're going to do is set some goals around mobility. So let's say for the first 2 weeks, we want to do just 5 minutes of stretching, right, a day. So we're going to set a daily goal for 2 weeks. We're just going to, hey, 5 minutes on the foam roller, doing some stretching, whatever it is. I just need you doing 5 minutes of some sort of mobility work. How positive are you that you can do that, right? 9 or 10, cool. Let's do it for 2 weeks. So let's say that after that, for the next 2 weeks, now we're going to add a 15-minute, yoga routine once a week. All right, how positive you can add that into it. You can go to YouTube, you can find a follow along YouTube or a yoga routine or something like that. Easy. I've got my MTB follow along mobility routines as well that you can get that fit this. But anyways, the point is that this is an easy goal, right? So 2 weeks, 5 minutes a day of doing stretching. Then you add in the 15 minutes once a week of the yoga routine, okay? So after the first 4 weeks, after the first month, we have some gains in our mobility area. So we're gonna move to strength next, right? So to improve strength is our next goal for the next month, all right? And so the first thing, let's just say we wanna do 1 workout a week, right? If you're starting out at nothing, 1 workout is gonna be a lot, right? 1 20-minute workout. You're just 1 20-minute workout a week. How positive are you can do that, right? So for 2 weeks, we're going to do that. And then for the next 2 weeks, we're going to add another workout. We're going to +1 that, right? So now we're up to 2 workouts a week, 2 20-minute workouts a week, on top of these other habits that you have gotten going, right? So you still got your daily mobility. You still got your weekly yoga routine. Now you're up to 2 workouts a week. Well, now it's time to start tackling cardio, all right? So what do? So for the next month, the next 4 weeks, we're going after cardio. So we're going to start out with a 10-minute post-workout, right? After your workout, you're going to add a 10-minute cardio routine, okay? Or 5 minutes, like what doesn't matter, right? If you're like, I don't know if I can do 10, cut it back to 5, okay? You're just going to add 5 to 10 minutes of some sort of cardio after your workout. And then for 2 weeks, you're going to do that. And then after that, you're going to add 1 dedicated cardio workout a week. Okay, so now at the end of this 12 weeks here, you've got a daily stretching habit, you've got a yoga routine that you're doing, you've got 2 workouts a week that you're doing. After each one of those, you're doing 5 to 10 minutes of cardio, and you've got a dedicated cardio workout that you're doing each week. Right, like you've accomplished quite a bit. If you would have tried to have done all of that right off the bat, the odds of success for a lot of people are not as high as if you take this approach and stack things like this. Now, the other thing is, at the end of this, you think your fitness is going to have improved? Yeah, by focusing on what you can control, making easy things for you to do down here that you can control, and then focusing on them, it allowed you to accomplish these bigger goals, which are underpinning your overall goal. Now, if everything lines up, right, and you're able to line up at the GJ Off-Road, you're going to have much better fitness, and you're going to accomplish your overall goal. You're going to be much more likely to accomplish that. But even if you don't, right, something happens, you can't go, or you have some sort of time goal and you don't accomplish it, whatever it is, then you're not walking away completely empty-handed. You accomplish a lot. You know in your heart, I did what I did. The goal, it just wasn't my day. Time to repeat the process. What do I want to accomplish next? How do I turn this outcomes-based goal into a process-based goal? And then what are the chunks that I need to take to accomplish that? And then what are the daily habits the habits that I can focus on to build that up, right? And so breaking it down like this, you can break down any goal like this. But the point is that you do need goals, but making sure that you're setting positive goals that are going to move you in a positive direction rather than toxic goals, which create frustration and doubt and things like that, is really important. So make sure that you're setting the right kind of goals as you're doing it. And that's going to help you stay motivated to stick with your training, and that's going to have a carryover to all sorts of areas in your life, right? Like, it isn't just about how you perform on the bike. All this stuff is going to carry over to how you perform off of the bike, improve your confidence for being able to accomplish tasks in other areas of your life, right? So, really mountain biking, the self-improvement aspects that come from mountain biking when done right are giant, and they're really the biggest thing that I like to see people get from mountain biking, way more than accomplishing like racing goals and stuff like that. Like, those things are great, but seeing the impact that this stuff can make on your life and how mountain biking can provide the framework for you to do that is really what it's all about for me. So anyways, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this tip. Make sure that you use this to set some good goals and move you in the right direction, and I will talk to everybody next time.